Just a little channel that, I'm picking up on that's been coming through, uh, reflecting on the moon energy and how, again, it's been talked about, with them on my own channel and as far as my YouTube channel and in general, a lot of people, excuse me, speaking to the Saturn moon matrix. And again, like being aware of, like some of us may be, crossbreeds in essence, and not crossbreeds in like a GMO type of way, but like beings that are both, of the sun and moon energy. And hence why we could feel like we resonate with both of them so strongly. While some of us may, only be beings that connect with, are descendants of one of those aspects, like just moon energy or just sun energy or solar energy, and the moon beings, are vessels under the influence of the moon spirits, that's connected to the reincarnation cycle, it's connected to, quote unquote, darkness in the subconscious. And, you know, if a black person may get in their ego about it, so what? But it also, I feel like points to, and I said this before, like the melanated skin is actually like being like a fifth year senior because you're constantly reincarnating, under this sun, what I'm saying, because of like strong emotional attachments, aka, in connections with the moon, and not wanting to let go certain emotional attachments. Some people might have like strong emotional attachments to duality and wanting to do spell work on people, and instead of like saying like, all right, it may be more to this universe than just doing that. It's like, fuck that. My ancestors did like memories, because again, memories and subconscious, and like, the reason why we may stay in certain cycles or certain lesson loops is because of certain attachment to, certain memories. And in essence, those memories connected to certain emotional triggers or emotions in general, and again, like, and seeing how it all plays out, again, it's these races of what people call, it's like deeper than that. It's just more so of like a symbol and not necessarily something to extremely identify with in that essence, but again, like that darkness from constantly reincarnating under the sun. And it's not to make the divine feminine bad, but this is probably why, the feminine energy kind of gets like, flack from being quote unquote, you know, like unmentioned in a lot of historic things, or well, not necessarily mythology, because when you go deep into mythology, it's mentioned, but for the most part it kind of has that negative perspective. But it had like they give it a negative perspective from like a good and bad human perspective, and not like the science of the universe type of energy, where it's not necessarily like a good or bad thing, again, like negative meaning it draws in energy. And even another connection when you think about like the color, quote unquote, black, and how black absorbs the sunlight or draws in the energy, you know what I'm saying? And that's what the yoni does. The yoni draws in that solar phallic sunlight, that morning wood, like the sun rising, and that morning wood, being drawn in by that yoni energy, or that quote unquote black hole, or like the black box. And then also, no coincidence that the Lilith aspect is like called the dark moon or the black moon Lilith. And also realizing, and it's my own kind of insights right now, I didn't really, research this necessarily. This comes from accumulation of my own little inner gnosis and research, but also like being aware that our moon sign placements, like wherever our moon sign is at, and whatever houses, whatever zodiac sign is connected to, and for sure, like wherever the Lilith aspects is, may speak to our reincarnation process and like really show us where, like some of the main reasons of why we've kept reincarnating into this realm, you know what I'm saying? Like due to like emotional attachments in whatever area the moon is in. And again, and working with Saturn, the cause and effect, slash you know, that teacher, energy, and also seeing that, like, it's like the like what I wrote down, friends with Saturn, or the Anubis energy, or the dog energy, and hence when a lot of people talk of the ancestors, or like certain underworld energies, because I also felt like that. And this again, my little internal vibe, but like I felt like that's probably why, by Behemoth, may have, kind of stepped away from the game, or, had some health situations, because of like initiating, to some extent, like kind of like promoting the underworld and like that energy, and again, we talk about magic that's connected to that moon energy, you know, but, promoting and then probably getting to a point where he was starting to realize, like, wait, hold on, let me, reiterate on some of this, you know what I'm saying? But before getting there, things might have, shifted in that manner, you know what I'm saying? But, uh, and again, that's not to put it on nothing external, on that level, but just understanding, like, it has some type of connection, and again, like we talk about the moon and magic, and again, the moon connected with our sacral chakra, and, you know, again, connected with the emotions or the waters, because water holds memory, and in essence, whether we talking about within this realm, it's like layers of water, you got the quote unquote ocean, then what we call oxygen, what we breathe is kind of like, in essence, like a water, then whatever, for whatever it's worth, what people may call the firmament, and what's outside of that, it's like, water in essence, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, because again, a whirl, like a tourist field, like when you letting the water out of the bathtub, and it start to have that little tornado or that little whirl, you know what I'm saying? And in essence, again, like in essence, the chakra is, to some extent, it's like a little whirl, and again, like realizing why a lot of us are like, wait, hold on, this should be more about balance and not just worshiping one aspect of being, not just worshiping the moon, not just worshiping the sacral chakra, or not just worshiping the solar plexus, and this then went both ways, again, like our over masculine worship, of just worshiping the sunlight, and enlightenment and being intellectual and getting a lot of information and insight, you know what I'm saying, from externally, or from the illusion, in essence, you know what I'm saying, and not really doing enough of, internal work. And hence where again it's like, all right, the yin and the yang balance, it's like a little bit of that darkness, a little bit of that light, which both could be seen as a light in essence, but again, like, it's like equilibrium and equanimity, it seems to be the, spoken of as enlightenment across the board, no matter what mythological, or no matter what culture, or, bacteria, what I'm saying, you're talking about, what I'm saying, like, the bacteria culture you're talking about on the petri dish, it all kind of has that connection. Because again, yeah, the moon sign, the moon placements, and that Lilith placement, I definitely point, and I just think of, like, say, for instance, one of my evidence, like the evidence of my Lilith being in Cancer, like the Lilith, Cancer placement is one of the most volatile energies, you know what I'm saying, of like, reincarnating. And I think about one of my DMT trips, but when I was transitioning, I like had my, you could say, death experience, quote unquote, or transitioning experience. One of the things I was trying to do was like, call out to my mom in essence, because that's what the Cancer energy is connected with, and deals with. And, it's like in transmuting that strong connection of like, you know, the volatile back and forth emotions of wanting to love and connect with my mama, but then also seeing like where there's toxic energies connected with it as well, So it's like I want to love, but then, it's like it kind of becomes tough in certain moments, you know what I'm saying? And again, uh, and sharing this because this, again, like I feel like a lot of people catch aha moments about this. And again, like awareness with who and what we receiving information from, you know what I'm saying? Like you know, what a person, place, or thing is influenced by, because again, an extreme moon being or extreme feminine being will only speak of, the moon energies and this energy as the only thing to be tapped into. And again, shout out to a lot of people out there though that again like that speaks to the balance, like where it's not extreme solar energy or extreme fire and air, aka extreme thought, you know what I'm saying, or Thoth energy, you know what I'm saying? Thoth, shapeshifter from being Mercury, from being the sun, and that's where the trickster and Legba energy comes from as well, As a matter of fact, if you got a conjunction with the sun and Mercury, that's kind of like a Legba characteristic in essence, too. But, like again, like, it's the balance, you know, like not just all fire and air, aka technology and intellect, artificial intelligence and computers in the future, because it's about like what's next. Again, like, moving forward, Hence why the Sag and Aries, more so the Sag and Aries, about like taking some actions, like again, not necessarily holding on to the past or, what I'm saying, like like a water or earth energy that deals with values and a little more sturdy and foundation about family and quote unquote ancestors or memories, you know what I'm saying? Like again, like, kind of like again like that opposite in energy, and again neither one good or bad, right or wrong. And hence when we talk about those four elements and then the quote unquote fifth element, like the movie, you know what I'm saying, and is it, let's see, first, second, whatever it is, the fourth, but I was thinking about it as the fourth chakra, but the heart chakra, but the fifth element, in the aspect of ether, bringing both of those, again, the air and fire and the downward triangle, just like a yoni, the downward triangle, and again, because the body's shaped to tell a story as well, you know what I'm saying? But, the downward triangle, representing the earth and the water energies, you know? And again, like when I was bringing up, being aware, because, some people may be under the extreme influence of the moon being energies, or they may, be a vessel that's under the influence of those moon spirits, or even a spell, like they, you know, may want to not, like want to be aware to bring more balance and understanding from it, a balanced perspective, but just kind of stuck under programming that makes them lean towards, just fire and air, or just, water and earth, you know what I'm saying? But in this case, again, like the water and earth or the moon energy, and again, reincarnation is neither good nor bad, right or wrong. It's just those of us who, been a little more aware, because there's no such thing as an old soul in the infinite realm, you know what I'm saying? But what an old soul in essence represent is, those of us who just been aware of the wholeness of the universe a little longer, than other. That's not even say longer, but just been having that awareness, so to speak. Cause that's what I thought about, like the joke of, a shark, like a shark telling a fish, like, oh yeah, fish, like, a shark want to eat that fish, and telling that fish like, oh yeah, there's a lot of wisdom you can gain by, jumping into my mouth, you know what I'm saying? And which that may be true, but that's not the whole story, because also when that fish hop into that shark mouth, it's gonna chomp down and chew it, and shit it out and, recycle it back into, the earth in essence. So, it's like being aware of, you know, if the quote unquote person, place, or thing we learning from is the shark, in that sense of it. And as I say that, it's not to get in no extreme dual nature, because again, we do learn from, traumatic experiences, you know, again, like all those quote unquote harsh moments, as teachers just as much as the quote unquote moments where it seems to have a lot of ease to it, you know what I'm saying? So, and again, neither one of them good or bad. It ain't like over the moon and, the feminine energy is bad. Because again, nah, that's what's bringing the equilibrium back, is to not have everything so extremely masculine. Because again, and paying attention to it in this plane of existence, where those elements thrive at is where those beings are thriving at, you know, like in Kemet, it's a lot of masculine energy, what fire and air does, it makes it hot and dry, you know what I'm saying, like a desert, you know what I'm saying, like, and hence why, you go west in America, quote unquote, where we want to say Turtle Island, but for awareness purpose, you know what I'm saying, the quote unquote United States, you know what I'm saying, when you go more west, it's more, drier, you know, because even a mountain represents like that upper triangle, you know what I'm saying? And again, the symbols is in it, you know what I'm saying? But again, like, or like in Louisiana, where it's like, it's water and earth element, so it's that strong divine feminine slash kind of, things seem to move a little slower, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a lower altitude, And you think about New Orleans, like 8 feet below sea level, and then you go into the mountainous areas where it's high altitudes, you know, and the thought processes out that way move a little quicker. Things in California are just in the western, the little areas a little more quicker in essence. You know what I'm saying? And like even like the East Coast, it's not necessarily a lot of dryness per se, but it's a stronger air element due to the higher altitude. In essence, you talk about the Appalachian Mountains, you know, excuse me, on that level. But again, it's it all the symbols speak. But I'm gonna just you know stop right there. But and I talk like this whenever I'm channeling to make sure I'm not like talking all like excitable and aligned for the message to kind of, so if it seems like I got like a little like a little voice to it, it's just like making sure I'm able to, because now I'm getting a little mature with the ability to channel and seeing when I am like bringing through a channel to allow for the foundation to be a little sturdy, so I could really, bring it down from those higher heights, like a mountain. A mountain is able to go so high because of how grounded it is, you know, the balance. Hey. As I talk in my ASMR voice. But peace, y'all. Now it's a vibrate. Y'all know what it is. As a matter of fact, right now, I'm not trying to be depressed and stay in the past and go back in time. Stay all the way in the past and not trying to be too anxious and always trying to be so future oriented right now. And again, it sometimes easier said than done, but it can be done. Peace, y'all.